look at the major hardware components of a computer. I have called them the major components of the computer because they are the core hardware parts of the computer that the computer cannot literally do without them. And also, to some extent, the other components of the computer rely on them for their performance. Let's look at it starting from the first type of the computer, which is the desktop computer. One of the major components of the desktop computer is the systems unit. It's this big casing here that many of you call the CPU, which is actually not the CPU. It is the systems unit, or you can call it the casing or the systems casing. The CPU is something very small, which we shall see. It is inside the systems unit. So the system unit accommodates the internal components of a computer. There are some more hardware components of the computer in the systems unit. The motherboard itself, which is the main board connecting all the internal components of the computer, is also mounted onto the systems unit. You can see the motherboard is down here. Then it has the power supply, which is this one. This one is the drive bay, the DVD drive bay. Then the hard disk is also found inside of it. Those are all major components of the computer. The RAM is mounted onto the motherboard. So the systems unit basically accommodates and houses all the internal components of the computer. And not only that, it also has ports which can be used for putting in some other devices. So let's look at the peripheral devices. These are the devices which are connected to the computer system through the ports on the systems unit. So among the peripheral devices, the major ones are monitor. And the monitor is the major display unit of the computer. Its major work is to display whatever is in the computer. It doesn't have any storage, but it simply displays what is being done in the computer. The main computer is the systems unit, and the monitor basically displays what is in the systems unit. So you connect the monitor to the systems unit using the video graphics adapter and its corresponding video graphics port, which is on the systems unit. So this is one of the types of the monitor, the CRT monitors. In other words, cathode ray tube monitors, the very big old types of the 80s, which are phasing out lately. Then next and lastly, we have the flat panel display, which are the liquid crystal display and the plasma monitors. All these types are named according to their shapes and technologies. The CRT was named according to the technology that it uses. Then the liquid crystal display and the plasma display monitors, they all look the same, but they use different technologies, and so they are called flat panel display. Let's go to the next. So let's look at more on the peripheral devices. The mouse and the keyboard are also major peripheral devices that we cannot avoid talking about when we talk of peripheral devices. So the mouse and the keyboard are both input devices which are connected to the systems unit using the cables and the corresponding ports on the systems unit. However, some mouse and keyboards are wireless. They are connected using other technologies like Bluetooth, infrared light. So this is how a mouse looks like. A mouse, its name was derived from that rodent there, which looks like a rat, the mouse, because of its shape. You can see its tail right here, then the whole body is just right here. So that's the mouse, and the keyboard is right here. So the mouse is a pointing input device. They are input devices, meaning that they are used to enter data into the computer. This one does that by controlling a pointer, just like this one I'm using right now. Then the keyboard is the keying input device. It's called a keyboard because it has been made with a lot of keys. These are not knobs, these are not buttons, but they are called keys. We shall see it clearer when we come to looking at the keyboard on its own. So let's go to next. The major hardware components of a computer still. So we are done with the desktop computer. The desktop computer, we saw its components, but those are the major hardware components. I'm going to show you the things that without it they will not work automatically. You can talk of the printers and whatever, but still I've not talked of them because what I've shown you are the things that you're going to use for the practicals directly. So let's look at also the laptops and palm tops and the personal digital assistants, how their components are. So starting with the laptop, you can see that the monitor of the laptop is right here, intact. Like I said before, it's intact with the systems unit. So the whole thing is just here together. You can look at this one and the PDA, the tablet. Its monitor is also intact onto it there. So with the PDA, you can see that its monitor is actually the touch screen. It's called a touch screen because you can touch it and you enter data in it through touching. Its monitor is both an input and output device, in the sense that it can display data as well as you can also use it for putting in information. Some laptops does the same. So the same with the touch screen of this smartphone. It is also its monitor, and all these other ones, its monitor is this screen, and this one, its monitor is also this screen, and its systems unit are intact for these phones and the smartphones and these phones and the PDAs. All of them, their systems unit are intact onto the body of the old system, of the old computer system. So that's it. And also to talk of the keyboard now. The keyboard of the laptop is just this part here, and it's called the keypad. And for this one, its keyboard is this very touch screen. Like I said before, you input data by touching the screen. So that one is the keyboard. It brings for you a software of the keyboard which you can use to type in keys. So that's the same with this touch screen phone, the same with this one. But for this one's, its keyboard is the keypad. This one here, which has numbers and letters, it is the keypad. So that's it. Then also, if you look at the mouse of the laptop is called the touchpad. This very part here, the touchpad, it has all the components of the mouse. So this one is the pointing device of this type of computer. Meanwhile, for these others, the mouse is just the same with the screen, and also this one, its pointing device is these arrow keys. They're the ones which are used to control the pointer on the screen to select data. Then you use the keys to select. With the touch screens, it is the same. The mouse is also still the touch screen, so you can see it does a lot of work in one thing. I think that is that with the major hardware components of a computer. Then let's look at how to connect the components of a computer. The peripheral components, like I told before, they are connected to the system unit by help of cables and ports on the system unit. And each cable has connectors with either a male or female head. So I'm going to show you this one when we come to connecting it practically. You find that the male connectors, they have pins which are fit into the corresponding female ports. The female ports have holes, so they go either way. The male connector connects to the female port, and the female connector connects to the male port. So that's that. So let's look at the major cables or adapters and connectors and ports used in connecting a computer system.